The United States will keep around 650 of its troops in Afghanistan after the rest of its forces are withdrawn. Most of the more than 4,000 U.S. soldiers have been leaving Afghanistan in recent months, and it's part of a pledge by President Joe Biden to withdraw troops by September 11th. Meanwhile, Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani is due to meet Joe Biden at the White House in the coming hours. Well, also on Friday, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken acknowledged attacks on Afghan forces were increasing and that Washington is assessing if plans for peace are realistic.
We're looking very carefully at the situation on the ground in Afghanistan, and we're also looking very hard at whether the Taliban is at all serious about a peaceful resolution to the conflict. We continue to be engaged on the diplomacy, but actions that would try to take the country by force are, of course, totally inconsistent with finding a peaceful resolution.
Well, Osama bin Javid's joining us now from Doha. Osama, one would imagine that people in Afghanistan are wondering what kind of support the U.S. is going to be giving to Afghanistan if most of its troops aren't there, but also, of course, what role the Taliban plan to play in the future of the country.
Well, that is the big question since last year when this landmark deal was signed between the Americans and the Taliban, and then an inter-Afghan agreement with which Afghans were supposed to start an intra-Afghan dialogue to find a lasting solution for peace in the country. But that does not seem to have made the headway that people were supposing that it would. And to discuss that troop withdrawal, we have with us the spokesman for the Taliban, and we'll ask them what do they feel about these 650 troops which are going to be staying in Afghanistan, according to reports. Mr. Sohail Shah, thank you very much for being with us. Now, you've seen these reports that 650 U.S. troops are going to be stationed behind. Let's start off with what is the Taliban's reaction, and how is that going to change the situation on the ground? Because since it's been more than a year since you've attacked American and NATO forces.
We have signed Doha Agreement, and that was negotiated with the American side for 18 months. And they have agreed and committed themselves that they will withdraw from Afghanistan all their military forces, advisors, and contractors. I think it is a clear violation of that agreement. Secondly, it will not solve the issue of Afghanistan, which has not been resolved through military approach in the past 20 years, but only prolong the hardship, the suffering, and complicate the issue.
But the situation has not changed. Even when the withdrawal was announced, you're seeing a number of attacks on the Afghan government areas. You claim that more than 100 district centers have fallen to the Taliban. So isn't there a reason for international troops to stay there to maintain the peace? Because the fear is that the Taliban wants to take over Afghanistan by force.
First, we had committed ourselves that we will provide secure passage to the Americans while they are withdrawing from Afghanistan, and we will not attack them. We remained loyal to that. We have not attacked them during their withdrawal. Even that they violated the 1st May full withdrawal from Afghanistan, still we have not attacked them, while we are fully capable to do that. And secondly, is the internal aspect of the Afghan issue. That is, we reach a solution in a ceasefire through intra-Afghan negotiation, which we see the other side from the Kabul, they do not show flexibility. So that is why the progress is very slow. For example, regarding the release of our 5,000 prisoners, they delayed that for 6 months, not releasing that. It was one of the reasons of slow progress in the talks. It is, I think, that the other side also be blamed. And even when we started the intra-Afghan negotiation, they were not ready to accept the Doha Agreement as a basis for the intra-Afghan negotiation. Why it was? It is on the basis of that agreement that we started intra-Afghan negotiation. Before that, we were not ready, and there was no intra-Afghan negotiation. So it is very important that they show flexibility and come that it is a reconciliation.
But the question is that flexibility being shown by your side as well? Because the Kabul administration, as you call it, has been saying that the Taliban want a return to power, a return to the Islamic Emirate. They're not flexible about coming to the democratic system. For instance, will the Taliban take part in elections? How will this process work if it's going to be both sides coming together towards a mutual agreement?
I think that concept that to impose what they say, to impose on us, why we have the intra-Afghan negotiation? We didn't say any time that we impose anything on them. We say it is up to the two negotiation team to reach a solution and to talk about a future government, and then it will be acceptable to us. But they, before the two teams decide about the future Islamic government, they say you should accept this kind of government and this and that. So that is, I think they are not in the mode of reconciliation, but rather they want surrendering. While this negotiation, this intra-Afghan negotiation, which is underway in Doha, it is for reconciliation between the parties, not a surrendering. So I think they are a kind of in a vacuum.
Very quickly, this U.S. troop stationed 650, if they stay behind, are the Taliban going to attack U.S. troops now? Yes or no?
If they stay here, then I think it is a kind of continuation of the occupation, and that's they have violated, and we have fully right to react.
Mr. Suhail Shaheen, thank you very much for speaking to us. There you have it, the reaction from the Taliban on the reports of 650 U.S. soldiers staying inside Afghanistan as the withdrawal is underway and violence is peaking at levels that we have not seen for the last few years. And peace in Afghanistan, after all of the negotiations which happened between various sides and including regional actors, remains a distant possibility.
That's Osama bin Javed reporting from Doha. Osama, thank you.